Welcome back to Glass Slipping. I'm Peter.
And my name is Keaton.
That was so good by us. Today on the pod, we're answering listener questions.
Can we just be so real with you guys right now?
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock in the evening. We've had 2 beers, and we're going to answer your fucking question.
This is also our second podcast of the night. If you watched on YouTube last week, you will notice we're wearing the same clothes. It's been 20 minutes. And we, as a necessity, Keaton is a touring musician. Jamie is very busy.
So we're drinking beers and answering your fucking questions.
We are
because it's a Wednesday night, bitch. Let's
we
get
are
into
committed to bringing you podcast content every week. Quality of that content, we'll find out.
Quality may vary.
Quality may vary, but we got you nonetheless. We put a poll on Instagram and said, do you have questions you'd like us to answer on the pod? And people did respond. So that's what we're going to do today.
All right. Okay, here's a good one, Pete. Advice. This is from Cami1217. Advice for creatives experiencing burnout.
Okay. I would say there are a lot of different types of creative burnout. So it depends on what type of burnout you're having. Burnout, I feel like, is usually an indicator of 1, you are overworked, 2, you are not making enough money, or 3, you don't like what you're doing. And so I think taking first a step back and figure out which one of those things it is. If you're overworked and you just need some rest, then that can be a really nice thing. If it is what I'm doing is not, I'm relying on it to be financially fulfilling, but it's not, and I'm not financially fulfilled. Like for me, a big step I was getting creatively burnt out because I was doing a lot of shitty jobs for shitty pay because I thought that was my way into the creative industry and the only thing I could do. And so I was accepting conditions that were not good for me. And so what helps me get around that or circumnavigate that was finding work that was not tied to my creative life and enjoyment and doing those things to make money and survive, and creating outside of that, becoming more creative and working that into my life in other ways.
Yeah.
And third question, do you like what you're doing? Because I've had jobs that did pay me well, but by the 5th video I made or by the 7th time through the cycle, I really, really didn't like it. And that can be a really clear indicator too. So I think it is first figuring out what the source of the burnout is, and then trying to prescribe yourself a treatment for that, whether that is just I'm feeling overworked and I need to take an hour to give myself like a walk every day, or I need to take a week where I don't do any of it. Or if it's a financial issue, if it is I don't actually like this, those are bigger existential questions that you can kind of address.
I love that answer. I feel like when I've been burnt out, like writing, like creating, the biggest thing that I try to do is just to not shit on myself for taking a break from it, where it's like, I feel like now I've gotten to a place where I'm like, if I have an idea for something, I'll start. As soon as I feel uninspired, I stop. I don't try to push anything, because then I will immediately just feel like, ugh. You know what I mean? I'll hate what I made. I'll feel shitty about myself. I take a break. I come back to it when I feel it, you know? And not tying your self-worth to the thing that you've made.
That, I think, is
huge.
Huge.
Because then you can take a break and you can still feel like a fully formed person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know, I think about songs, and I'm talking about like, you know, my own shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think about songs that I write like pizzas. Yeah.
Expand on that one, please.
Stay with me. Pizzas that you're experimenting toppings and sauces and whatever. Like, you have a base, you know what it is, right? Like, you know what the base is, you know it's gonna be a crust. You're gonna try some weird shit on top of it. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes the pizza fucking blows. And you're like, I'm gonna put M&Ms and anchovies on this pizza, and maybe it's gonna be the best thing I've ever done, and maybe it's gonna be fucking horrible. And you gotta make a lot of pizzas to get the right combination.
I agree with that too.
And you're gonna make a lot of bad pizzas. This is stolen, I think, from this analogy. It's stolen from, I think, my friend Emily Fink.
Thief.
I'm a thief. I'm a thief. Steal like an artist.
That said, Emily Fink is not that online, so claim it, girl.
No, she's not. But she said
we love Emily Fink. Shout out to her.
Fucking love Emily Fink. Oh my god, love her so much. She's a writer as well, and she said to me at one point, she said, sometimes you're gonna make a lot of bad pizzas, and you have to try it though.
Something I think is also magic to this is switch mediums. Like, I have gotten very burnt out on a lot of creative endeavors I have done because I just am like, I've been making videos every day for 60 days, or I've been writing songs every day for 60 days, whatever I throw myself into, I get a little ADHD and hyper focused into, and it's a superpower, and it is also a little bit of a curse because it can just become all consuming. And when you start to get burned out, if you're working on a script and you don't feel great about it, maybe try and write a 15-line or 14-line sonnet or something different. Totally. Just a different medium that can flip how your brain is thinking.
Yeah, totally. I think it's like, yeah, I think as long as you're not completely tied, your self-worth is not tied to the thing that you make. That when you make a bad pizza, when you write a bad song, when you write a bad script, like whatever the fuck it is, does not make you a bad writer.
It's also why I think decoupling, especially in the early side, from your financial necessities of making life work, just makes it so much easier to fail.
Bring up the finance of it, but it's true.
It makes it so much easier to fail because and I've had this, if the video you deliver on Friday is the difference between the $800 that's going to pay your rent or not, you will put a lot more pressure on yourself to make it good.
Yep.
And if the video you're making on Friday has a soft deadline of Friday, but like really if you release it Saturday, it doesn't make a big deal and it has no financial implications beyond maybe it makes 50 cents on the internet, you have a lot more freedom. Like, I think constraints can be really good to motivate and to push and to pull good things out of you, but also if they are too tight, it becomes really, really difficult to do anything actually creative or fun or things that you enjoy. Like, it sucks the joy out of it quickly.
I think my last piece of advice that I would give to experiencing burnout is collaborate. I think
new voices can breathe life into stuff.
If your brain is hitting a wall with something, I've done this more times than I can count. I literally sent a song that I had been working on for a month. I could not crack a hook on this song. I was like, I know what it is. I know the verses are good. I know the bridge is good. The pre is amazing. The whole thing, but I cannot fucking crack this code. And I sent it to Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years. And 2 days later, he sent me a perfect hook.
No, that's like the first like song cycle I ever wrote with my friend Noah. He had written like half of a song and was like, I know what the verse and chorus of this song is, and I don't know what to do with it.
Can't figure it out.
And he just showed it to me, and we spent an hour talking about it.
Because someone hears it and they say, that's why I have a writing partner.
And out of that hour, we were like, oh, this is the bridge and the end of the song. And it just took me hearing it and being like, why don't you do this? And then we were like, let's write the rest of the song.
Dan and I write so much on our own, and oftentimes what will happen is we'll have the bones of something and then say, I don't know what this is. 90% of the time, the other person comes back and goes, oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's this. You know? But Danny, yes. Yeah. Not Dan Campbell, but also Dan Campbell did help me with that one. Because I'd sent it to Dan and Danny, and she was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know about this one. And I was like, well, let's bring somebody else into the mix. You know what I mean? And yeah, he cracked it for me. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck it is. And I think, it really can just breathe life into something, having another eye on it, having another ear on it. Like, and it can also breathe life into you. That's a huge thing. Is it breathes life into you. You're like, oh my God, yes, it can just be like, I don't have to carry this burden.
I also just think when you're doing something yourself, things can become really insular creatively. I think of it from an edit standpoint, from a writing standpoint, anything, it can become stale to yourself if you are just pounding yourself over the head with it over and over again. And just the act of showing it to someone else. Like, I remember when I used to do comedy sketches online, my last step before I ever published anything was I would just show it to my roommate, because if he laughed or not dictated if I was making cuts or not. And so it's like, this is a 90-second video. I showed it to him. Whoa, it's a 42-second video. because like those are the 3 moments that are funny.
Yeah.
And everything else didn't land. And just getting some kind of feedback can be so good for how you're viewing it, because you can be viewing something and be like, this is 90 seconds of gold, baby. Like, we are killing it. Yeah. And then like one person watches it and you go, oh, actually those 4 jokes didn't land. And like, these are the 3 jokes I felt really uncomfortable about watching someone else watch, because I actually knew in my head they were bad or they didn't land. But it took actually seeing someone react to it to go, oh, right. The hook works. This joke in the middle works and the joke at the end works. And that's all we need. Yeah. That's burnout.
Give me a question, Pete.
Oh, this is a Keaton question.
Okay.
From M. Liz Murray. How did your role as Carrie impact your career? I still see people talking about it.
Well, yeah. You're still talking about it. I'm just kidding.
I will never stop talking about it, just so you know.
Oh, God. Carrie is so interesting because it happened to me so long ago that I thought it was over and done with so long ago. And it turns out that it has lived its life on the internet since then. It happened in probably 2013, year before I graduated high school. I was like 16 when it happened. When I did it, when it happened to me. It was extremely influential to me in many, many ways. It's the first time I was billed above the title, which was a big thing.
That's a crazy thing. You were what, 15, 16?
16, yeah. The only time, I think, actually. Yeah, I gotta be the only time. But yeah, the internet life of it has been very interesting to me. I resent it greatly for many reasons, but mostly I feel very grateful. It got me on the internet in a way. I think that's been very helpful to me.
Broke the seal too in a way that, because you didn't really have a choice of the way it was presented on the internet.
No, I certainly did not, and that's a huge reason why I resent it so greatly. But I think it the things that I was very insecure about in that performance really ended up being the thing that people really connected to, which is really interesting. So I think that's really cool. I feel grateful. Like, I think that's a really cool thing. The way that I did the End of the Destruction was out of pure and true necessity, because I could not at the time sing it. And I was like, well, this shouldn't be thinking clearly or like singing clearly. She would scream. So I was like, I'm just going to do that. And that's what people really like about it. But I was really insecure about it for a really long time. There's another point that people get on me about on the internet all the time, is that I don't smile in my bow. I'm not like smiling because I am truly and literally covered in blood, in sticky, real, hot blood.
Wait, real? Well,
not real, but it was like, they did it like a lot of real blood. They poured real blood on me, human blood. No, but like in a lot of other productions, they'll do like a light cue or they'll do whatever. No, like they dumped like liquid on me every night, which was, extremely demeaning.
so pleasant as a 16-year-old girl.
My dear friend who was the AD on it, my friend Kelsey, who I've known since I was like 10, was the AD, and she would quite literally, she's honestly like my sister. She lived with me for a very long time, and we were very, very close. But she had to literally get in the shower with me and peel my dress off every night. I would walk off after bows, and she would have to peel my dress off of my body because it would get stuck.
Again, super normal 16-year-old experience. I'm sure had no lasting impacts whatsoever on the way you think, the way you act, who you are.
But I don't know. There was something about that production that I really, really love, which was that there's something about the end of Carrie that is so... I mean, the movie is fucking terrifying. Both versions of the movie are fucking terrifying. And it's this mass murder in a high school, which is not abnormal. Obviously, doing it by way of telekinesis is not something you see every day. But, like, something that you do see every day is a mass murder in a high school. So I always found that to be, like, really dark and kind of striking. And I really wanted to, like, look at it through that angle, kind of. So at the end of the show, when it's like dead silent, everyone's dead. Like everyone's dead, including me and the mom. like coming out.
Spoilers.
Sorry, spoilers. Carrie spoilers.
For Carrie.
But like, I don't know. Like, there was something about bows being in silence that I wanted to like keep the audience like reeled into.
Okay.
Especially because I had like the last bow and I'm covered in blood and everyone's dead.
Mm-hmm.
That I was like, there's something interesting and like sort of subversive about this. And I was 16, so obviously I made that call. But people get on me all the time about it. And I wasn't doing it because I wasn't happy to be doing it. I was doing it because I was making a choice. So, yeah, it's interesting. I made a lot of choices. I was 16. And now it lives forever on the internet, which is great.
And that answers your question, Liz
Yep.
Murray. From Miss Kara Ashley Oates. She just said, "Do you love me?" I'll let each of us answer that. I'm going to go first and say yes. For context, this is my girlfriend who I live with. And one of our best, like,
one of our best friends, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, of course, bitch. That's how I feel.
Great. From Lady Papayanita, just as Free Palestine, Palestinian flag. Free Palestine.
Rock on, Free Palestine.
Rock on. Next. Keat, would you ever go back to Broadway? We would try and see you in shows.
Oh, God. If they'll have me, for certain.
So if Broadway comes calling tomorrow,
well,
says, Keat, would you come back?
Please come back. Yeah, it would depend on the project, but yeah. Of course I would go back. I love it. Yeah. I would like to be able to be choosy about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. What?
I appreciate that they did have to specify, Keat, would you go back? Because I've never been on Broadway. I would go back. Here's the thing. I did recently quit a job on Broadway, but it was in the front of house. And I don't know that I will go back to that. I have a lot of respect for those workers. They're very cool. And I enjoyed that job a lot, and I miss people there. But don't know that I'm going to go back to that.
I would love to do another Broadway show. Yeah. It was great. Like I said, I would just like to be choosy about what I'm able to do. I think at this point in my career, I'm not able to do that. But at one point, hopefully, I will be able to. To be able to be like, no, I want to do something specific about what I would like to do.
Yeah.
For sure.
Would you ever do a song or collab, not on the pod, together?
What?
So I think the question is from Luna Wishes. She said, would you ever do a song or collab together? And then in parentheses, not the pod.
Oh, like would we collaborate?
Would we collab to a song?
Do you want to do a song, P?
I would never say never to anything. I don't really write music like that anymore in a way that like there is a world where when we were like 19 and I was writing theater music, that collab would have
would have had me sing it maybe. Yeah, totally.
Now
I'm
with
offended
you in
that
the
you've never
pop
asked me
punk
to sing one of your
space,
songs.
I don't think you should be offended.
I like a lot of your songs.
That's really nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, never say never.
But
I don't know in our current context of life where that would line up, but who knows?
What kind of other collab could we do that's not a song?
I don't. Well, I mean, it would be a song. I would think if because she said, would you ever do a song or a collab?
Yeah, but or a collab. But what could that possibly mean?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Jamie said write a TV show on Keaton Accident. That like there are plenty of spaces where that actually could fit.
You guys don't think I could write a TV show?
And I act in it.
I wouldn't ever do that.
Yeah.
Never say never, I guess.
Never say never. You never know. Sure is the answer.
Sure, we would, yeah.
Who are your Crystal Caved In said, who are your favorite women in rock currently?
Oh my god. My favorite women in rock. There are so many good women in rock. Paris is amazing. Paris with a V. Scene Queen, I fucking love. I think her shit is just so fucking good. God, there's so many. It's hard. This band called Soft Cult is one of my favorites.
Okay.
2 women, I think one woman and one non-binary person. Julian Baker and Lucy Dacus, amazing. Obviously Phoebe Bridgers as well. Boy Genius, yes, but all of their individual careers are fucking incredible. There are so many. I realized recently that I only really listen to women.
That's dope.
Like almost ever, not even consciously.
Like I don't think that's a problem.
No, it's not at all. Just consciously.
Yeah.
And unconsciously, I just like only really listen to women. Honey Revenge, Devin Papadal, the singer, wonderful girl. Fucking Car, it's iconic. God, yeah, so many people, so many girls that I know personally too that I just fucking adore and are doing so many amazing things. The band Mama, they're amazing too. 2 girls. Diva Bleach, shout out, they're amazing. There are so many, and if you don't know any, fucking get into it.
Said get
the fuck into it. Girls are doing it.
I don't listen to a lot of rock music anymore. I used to when I was in college.
What do you listen to for leisure?
For leisure? I mean, lately
for leisure,
I've been listening to a lot of Remy Wolf lately, and that's been like playlisting around Remy Wolf.
Fucking love Remy Wolf.
I also had a recent Post Malone phase, which is hilarious because
God,
like
Pete.
I had never really had a Post Malone phase as like a younger person.
Not to be so annoying, but Post Malone actually rocks so
he's
hard.
He's really good at writing music, and like there had always been little songs, but he just released a country album, and I'm not even a country person, but I started like, and I was like, oh, 3 or 4 of these songs I really like, and then I just had a Post Malone kick where I listened to a lot of Post Malone.
He references Fall Out Boy in a song.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, so good. 727, Bump Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Levi Jeans, right? It played at the Johnsons the other day in Bushwick when I was there, and I thought, wow, that's cool.
But really, like women in rock, like I don't listen to a lot of rock music lately. I remember I saw St. Vincent when I was in college.
Oh
which was
God,
really sick.
St. Vincent fucking rocks.
That was sick. I'm trying to think of like in that era of what music I listened to. Cause yeah, right now I'm kind of on like pop girlies and like
the pop girlies. I mean, the pop girlies are killing it.
Yeah, the pop girlies I feel like are ruling the world right now. So that's why like
we have some of the best pop stars we've had, honestly, in like a really long time.
Yeah, and so I feel like I haven't been in like a rock space as much. Like
Ethel Cain.
Mm.
Ethel Cain. Do you listen to Ethel Cain?
No.
Oh my God, you would love her. Well, she's like not. I wouldn't call her rock. What would you call her, James? She's like alt rock. Yeah, like that Boy Genius. Yeah, she's like alt.
Well,
pop.
Boy Genius is at least from a commercial standpoint like rock. At least they're categorized as rock.
Yeah, they're like alt pop, alt rock kind of. Ethel Cain is like alt. I would call her like alt rock.
Mm.
Lana's pop, yeah, alt pop for sure. Yeah, you got to listen. Preacher's Daughter. She has this record that's like really like conceptual. There's like a whole story that goes with it.
Cool.
And then she's got some songs that are on there that are like 7 minutes long, but I never even notice because they're just so fucking good. And then she's also got some random like 2-3 minute bangers that are like hooky as fuck. She's incredible. Ethel Cain's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, but I love the pop girlies too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I've just like I feel like we're in the era of pop girlies right now.
I love my rock girlies, but I'm bumping short and sweet.
Yeah, I'm
all day, every day.
Bumping a decent amount of Sabrina Carpenter, a good amount of
Remy Wolf,
Remy Chapel, like
all the girls.
It just feels like
Charlie.
that was like Charlie this summer.
Charlie
like was just like I feel like was dominated by
Brat.
Those women on top of the world.
Oh, absolutely. Still, they're killing it.
Yeah,
the girls. It's the era of the girl.
Mm-hmm. It's the era of the girl.
And you can fucking quote me
but
on
it's
that.
funny. I did like grow up because my parents are like rock music people.
Are they?
So yeah, like my dad is such like a. It's funny his music ranges from like AC/DC to like Bob Marley, but so I would hear like a lot of Heart growing up and like sick rock women voices.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But it's funny because he's like on those two ends of the spectrum. It's either like "Don't worry" or it's like hard rock.
My dad texted me the poster to Sick New World today, the festival, and said, "Can you get me into this?" And I was like, "You know what, Dad? I think I probably can."
Yeah.
I was like, he said, "Would you go with me to see like it's like Metallica and Linkin Park are headlining?" And I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I can figure something out."
You said, "Yeah,
for sure, man." Oh, my drink is empty.
While Keaton gets another drink and gets her phone to check the question she got, if you have questions for Keaton or I and would like to potentially be featured on the podcast or want to see us answer them, then you can respond to this video in the comments, or you can send us a DM, or not. That was a really smooth dismount. Maybe 3 beers deep by the end of this podcast. We've been playing with different concepts for podcasts, especially because Keaton and Jamie are on the road a lot, and so there are going to be times where if they're on the road for 4, 5, 6 weeks, where we have to line up content, and there have to be days where we can film multiple episodes, like today, in a couple-hour span. And so, really, right now, I think the only one we have is that for one of our next episodes, we're gonna get progressively drunker. And answer questions as we go, and with each question maybe down a drink.
I think we should do a little game where we listen back to an episode together and we identify some of our vocal tics that we do, and every time we catch one we have to do something.
See, that we will, if we have to do something every time, that's gonna kill me. What I will say about has been kind of fun and existential about doing the podcast is I feel like I recognize certain vocal tics and then I pick up new ones for new episodes. And so I'll fix the previous vocal tic and replace it with another problem, which is fun for me. Okay.
I don't know what this means, but I feel like you will, so I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Do you like Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy, for context, video game series.
Okay.
I have only played a couple of, there's like 12 Final Fantasies, 14 there's a lot of Final Fantasy games and that have existed across a lot of consoles. I haven't played any of the new Final Fantasy stuff. Like the last time I played a Final Fantasy game was probably like 2012.
Okay.
Very good memories.
Okay.
But I kind of treat them in my brain.
What's the vibe of the game?
Like mass role-playing game, like where you're playing as a character and moving through like a huge open
like a
world.
League of Legends sort of situation?
No.
What's that?
So League of League of Legends is a this is so funny. And just as I'm me explaining League of Legends on the pod, League of Legends is a competitive multiplayer online game. So it's like teams of people playing against each other where you are randomly matched with people online and you are playing in a team to defeat the other team. Like in the way that like Valorant or Apex would be.
Okay.
Like if you're playing that competitively, like
that's a battle royale.
Apex is, yes.
Valorant, no.
Valorant is made by the same company that makes League of Legends. This is all getting cut. But
I think it's funny. You explaining video games to me.
But Valorant, I mean, eventually we will interview someone who's in esports, and that's going to be fun because that's going to be like, wow, you're making that much money to play video games? That's cool.
I'm going to be like, I don't get it.
We'll have to bring James in as a correspondent on that episode.
Give him the SM58.
Yeah. But
so funny.
Valorant is like 5v5. You play with random teammates. You could squad up yourself, but League of Legends is similar where you...
But a RPG is like, what is another example?
Role-playing game, like you think of like Legend of Zelda where you spawn into a world and you're playing through a story.
Okay. Like
so
Harry Potter. Like the Harry Potter game.
Like the new Harry Potter game, yes.
Okay.
Fuck
J.K. Rowling, by the way.
Yeah. We hit that.
We hit that already.
Put her in a blender. All this to say, Final Fantasy is cool. I would like to get back into that universe, but I have not played one of those games in a long time. So.
And my answer is, I don't know what that is. Cool.
I don't know what type of video games you like too, so I don't know what.
You think I like video games?
I feel like you would enjoy like Mario Kart.
I'm really good at Mario Kart, actually. When we go to Dave & Buster's on tour, I always win.
But that's Dave & Buster's Mario Kart. That's not like...
It's like Mario Kart. But we do play.
That's like in the car, like driving the...
I played Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And I did really like that.
Breath of the Wild is incredible.
Really good.
Tears of the Kingdom, even better.
I've played Apex. I actually enjoy it. I'm terrible. And you know something about me is that when I'm playing first person anything, I need my controls inverted. I don't know why. James calls me a freak.
No, some people's brains are just like that. That's why they have the setting. Though, context of this, Keaton's boyfriend is very good at Apex. And, like, we play video games together often.
Yeah, but
anyway.
When I tried to play because he was like, do you want to, like, I would watch all the time. And, like, I enjoyed So Colorful. I like that.
I enjoy So Colorful.
So Colorful. But I played, I think, with Carson for the first time at Lake House.
Okay.
I played because they brought, like, a monitor and they were playing.
Right. Classic.
So extremely classic. And I played, I think, Addison. I think it was the first time we went when it was just me and you. So
this is like height of they're not even height of pandemic. It was like height of the protests in New York. This is probably May 2020.
Yeah, I think it was because James' birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
And we went out to finish their record, and yeah, they brought a monitor, and Carson and Addie were playing, and I wanted to play, and Carson was like behind me the whole time. Well, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I was like, I'm pulling down and I'm looking down. That doesn't make sense to me. And James was like, do you want me to invert the controls? And I was like, yeah, it's like flying a plane. And Addison goes, do you fly planes? And I was like,
his engineering ass.
I was like, no, but it makes more sense to my brain. And Carson is behind me the whole time going, great game sense. Great game. Like, just like really just hyping me the fuck up the whole time. I can't make one shot. I don't know where I'm looking.
I love it.
My eyes are so bad and my hand-eye coordination is so terrible because of my eyes. So
what's funny about gaming is it is a young person's game. Like, even competitively,
it's like you can't learn it. You can't.
No, but even like in the competitive scene, like the teenagers dominate.
Yeah.
Because they have the craziest reflexes. Like, you are 24 and you are like geriatric in the competitive gaming scene.
Yeah. Fuck. But it's not something I don't have the attention span for it. I think. Taylor loves them. So I've sat with her and played. She loves like the Horizon games.
Horizon games are great.
I have so many friends that have voice acted and done the mocap for those that are so sick. Like Kylie.
We haven't talked about it on the pod have we talked about my one almost mocap experience?
No.
So right before the pandemic, I had an audition that I wonder if any of this will make the final cut of the podcast. But
who cares?
Right before the
Who cares?
like literally like March 9th, 2020, like 2-3 days before the NBA is canceled and New York shuts down, I have an audition. Great audition.
I like that your thought is that the NBA is canceled. Your first thought was when the NBA.
That was the moment. Well, no, do you know why I think of that? Because my roommate and I, Andy, were watching Space Jam, and there's a moment in Space Jam where they go, we're canceling the NBA. And within 10 minutes of us watching Space Jam, because it had just been added to Netflix, we got a notification on our phones that was like, Adam Silver says the NBA season is canceled. And we were like, what? That was when the pandemic hit for us.
A job interview that was at a preschool that was on March 12th. And on March 11th, I was like, I don't think I should go. And I was sick. I was like, thought I had the flu. And I was like, can't go.
But yeah, no, so maybe March 9th, I got an audition. I get an email. It's from my agent, and they won't tell me what it's for. And I'm like, that's weird. Don't know that I've had that happen before. And so I go in. They're being pretty secretive about it. They give me sides that I'm not allowed to keep. So I'm given the sides at the audition, which is already not typical. You usually are sent the sides. You get to prepare.
Moment.
But it wasn't just a cold read. They took the sides back after the scene was done. But then she asked about my experience doing mocap. It was like I was playing like this Southern hick criminal.
Shocking.
All of my niches combined.
Yeah, shocking.
But I looked up the casting director after because it was a really good audition. She was like asking for my availability for shooting, for all this stuff, which again, like in auditions doesn't
happen.
Is not typical for them to be like, when are you available next week? Like stuff like that.
What was it for?
I have realized after the fact it was for the new Grand Theft Auto.
Oh my God.
And I am so sad
that
because I don't know how they went through their shit with the pandemic and everything else, and it's been delayed for so long. But I know based on who the casting director was, because they were also a actor in another Rockstar Games thing. Like it was for Grand Theft Auto 6.
That's so sick.
Which is going to be the biggest game in the world.
My friend,
and I really think I had a shot.
My friend Allie Allison did the mocap for Horizon Zero Dawn, and she was nominated for a fucking BAFTA for her voice acting.
Wait, do you know what character she played?
I don't know. I could probably look it up. She's amazing.
Okay. We've been on the video game thing for a while, and I don't know how much of that will make the cut. So.
Okay, I'm looking for another good. Oh, this is a good question. What do you think about gatekeeping artists?
I think that's dumb. So I think that comes from how I interpret that question is like people who are fans of Chapel around 3 years ago, and now Chapel is at the top of the world. And
fans. I thought you said friends.
Fans. No, fans.
I was like, I hope her friends don't do that.
But on a level of like, it can be a really special thing to support. Like I have a group of podcasters that I follow, who used to be called Through the Wire, and they were a Chicago-based like podcast talking about basketball, and now they have a show on ESPN, which is called Numbers on the Board.
Okay.
But it's 4 guys, and I've been watching them on YouTube for years, and I'm really, really like it is really fun to watch like one of the guys from that show go on the Stephen A. Smith show, or like to do major media stuff and then to be on ESPN. That for me as a fan is super satisfying. I don't feel any weirdness that I've been like a fan of them for multiple years.
Totally.
And I think people who gatekeep are like, I've been a fan of them for years. You just didn't it's like, I don't think it is a bad thing. I think if you are really a fan of someone, it is a win for them to be winning. And so for them to be getting more fans, for people to be getting on board, like it's same with like if a team or an album or like people talk about bandwagon fans for sports franchises if they win the championship. I'm like, no, them having more fans is a good thing.
I think there are real and actual gatekeepers in every industry that actually do hold the strings. So you don't need to do that. Yeah. Someone is already doing that.
Yeah, I think there are people, I agree with you, on a level of...
There are real gatekeepers.
There are real gatekeepers, and people do not think about the structures. Who is holding the
power?
People do not think about who is holding the purse strings, who is in control, and who is at play here.
Yep.
And most of the time, especially early on with artists, they are not the person to direct your anger at.
Artists or anybody, athletes too.
Athletes, anyone, like those people, even if they are finally getting paid for what they're contributing, they're at the bottom of the totem pole, and a lot of people are profiting off of them that are doing much less Herculean things than they are.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I think that gatekeeping is not only like unfair to the artist you like, because
it doesn't do anything for them.
It doesn't do anything. It's a very selfish act. It is I want this to be special to me and no one else, which is just not healthy for friendships. It's not healthy for your relationship with the artist. Yeah. It is not healthy in any kind of way.
It's not good because it's like regardless of what the artist wants for themselves, at the end of the day, like not sharing someone's art is meant to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
You make art to be shared. And it should reach as many people as it can, because it can change on like an emotional level. Like it can change people's lives.
100%.
Art saves people's lives all the fucking time. So who are you to hold that from someone else? If it changed your life, I would hope that the thing that you want to do is to share it with other people and hope that it can change their lives as well.
Yeah, and I think if you're having that gate kept from you by someone else, that's weird behavior by them.
Yeah, totally.
And I try and think of, in anything I fight for in my own life or anything I do in my own life, like, who does this serve? And gatekeeping doesn't really serve anyone.
Anybody. It doesn't even serve you.
No. It's
because you want to share art with people too.
It just isolates you too. Like most actions,
if I have something really cool that I really like, my first instinct is to be like, can I show you this thing?
Well, and if you do that, that is how you make friendships. That's how you connect with people. That is
and
like,
if you love it too, then we can talk about it.
Yes.
And we can share it.
Gives a better outlet. Like,
yeah.
This is so funny, but like, I will always find a way to talk about One Piece. And
he's got a One Piece tattoo.
I do. But if there's someone who
Second
will
mention
talk
on the
about
pod,
it
by the
with me, I am on cloud nine. Like, I just found a way to bring it into this, but like the idea that, oh, I've been watching this for years, like I don't want other people to get in on, like, that's weird. I would love to be able to talk about it with someone.
It also doesn't make it any less special.
No. Yeah, I think it makes it more special if you can share it with other people.
Yeah, I agree. I have one last question.
Okay.
This one's a lot.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This comes from a friend, someone we know very well, Taylor Pearlstein.
Okay.
In which she says, which one of you is stinkier?
Right now? Or generally?
Generally.
Are you a stinky person?
I'm pretty, like, psychotic about not being stinky. But I can be. I think everyone can be stinky.
This is a good question, because we are, I don't think, going to litigate a smell test. I don't know.
No. I'm not willing to do that.
I'm not willing to do that either. I think that
I just put on a really expensive perfume that I was gifted. So I don't think it's me currently. I also bought a really expensive deodorant.
I will take up the mantle of I probably am stinkier. Just generally.
Well, boy is hard too.
Boy is hard. But
Yeah.
like, I am not one to be caught without deodorant, but I'm not like a cologne person. I'm not like curating scent.
You've never been stinky to me personally.
I am glad.
Yeah.
Because I would be horrified if I had been, or you
Listen,
could remember a moment.
I think yeah, no.
Like,
No.
that's the thing. There are very few people in my life, and there are people in my life who I can remember being like, they're stinky.
Me too.
And that's a tough place to be.
That was a tough spot to be. But I think there's a moment where everyone has been a little stinky.
This is a fun
you remembered
memory.
a moment?
It's not even me moment, but I did a college summer program. I was a junior in college.
I know what it is. Can I say?
And
I'm not gonna say.
I was roomed with someone who just stank. Like, not like kind of stinky, like
really bad.
Like really bad. Like, I brought it up with him, and he was like,
you brought it up?
Because I got support from the RAs. I got support from other students. It was a problem. We were taking dance classes, and people were like keeping a 10-foot radius around him, kind of thing. And I was like, hey, we're sharing a room. We're bunking together. I
want to be really real with you.
I'm going to be really real with you.
It's a really kind thing to do, honestly. At the end of the day.
It was so self-preservation based, because I could not breathe in the room I was staying in. But I appreciate you saying it was kind, because I like to remember it as that.
What are you going to do? I mean.
But so I remember telling him, hey, you should maybe shower. And he wasn't showering, wasn't using deodorant, wasn't really doing, and we were like dancing every day.
Dancing, yeah.
We were in a very humid state where it was like 90 degrees in the middle of the summer. We were 17. But his response, and I'll never forget, was, well, it doesn't bother me. And I went, that's not the point. And he didn't change it. And so, there's no way this could get anyone in trouble, so I'm just going to say it. I got permission from one of his RAs. An RA went and bought Lysol and let me Lysol all his shit, so that it just would be a little better. It wasn't better. It was not fixed. It was so bad.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
And I literally could not tell you any detail about this man, except for I remember his name, because he is the stinkiest person I've ever met. And I roomed with him for a 3-week span.
God, I'm really glad that I never had that experience. I'm so sorry I had to deal with that.
It's okay.
Needless to say, neither Peter or I are stinky, and so we're going to try to keep it that way.
I think so.
And that's going to go ahead and be glass slipping.
Yeah, thank you
so much
for submitting your questions. If you have additional questions, or if our answers spawn questions for you, you could ask them, or you could live with them. It's up to you.
Either way, that's on you.
This is separate, but it's something I want to record just that we can add in at some point in the videos. Hello. If you're listening to this and you have watched more than one episode of Glass Slipping, or have listened to us speak for more than 8 to 10 minutes of this podcast existing, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please.
Because we are going to hit the watch time numbers to be able to monetize on YouTube pretty quickly.
And I need it.
And Keaton needs it.
So does Jamie.
But subscriber-wise, we're not going to hit that number as fast. We're not increasing on a subscriber rate level as quickly as we are at a watch time level. So if you like us, if you're listening to this on audio platforms, if you just want to support us and make it so we make money a little faster, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please.
youtube.com/@glassslipping.
Don't make me beg.
They might make you beg.
No, thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.